Also going to say is that all the programs have represent the largest modern U.S. experiment in unrestricted cash payments, with more than 12,000 Californians expected to receive more than $180 million in public and private funds. Nowhere else have so many guaranteed income pilot programs launched at the same place. Keep that in mind, folks, because a new advocacy group actually doesn't want to let Republican lawmakers who oppose student loan forgiveness off of the hook. This Thursday, a nonprofit called Protect the Borrower's Action released an ad that criticized 13 Republicans and who voted back-to-back student debt relief. At the end of June this month and next month as well for August, the Supreme Court has struck down Biden's plan to cancel up to $20,000 in student debt for the federal borrowers. It came after both the House and the Senate passed a bill to take back Biden's debt relief that the president ultimately vetoed. So while Biden has announced a new plan to get borrowers relief during a different law, it's called the Higher Education Act, many Republican lawmakers don't even want to actually be carried on this. Biden acknowledged that delivering relief through the Higher Education Act will take some time because it requires the policy to go through a negotiated rulemaking process, which includes hearings and public commitment. Still, payments are scheduled to resume in October, but still, with interest accruing again in September. And while the Education Department announced a 12-month ramp on payments after the repayment starts, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is worried. Folks, more and more checks are expected to arrive for the Americans throughout the summer and fall. Lawmakers are agreeing to provide the low income with extra financial relief, and relief may either be in the form of a one-time check or direct deposit. But now, 2 rebate checks are going to be for tax policies. These checks are typically sent out after individuals file their annual tax returns and determine to be eligible for a refund or credit. The specific eligibility criteria for tax rebates is depending on tax lawmakers and regulations in the country. A large number of states have announced they will be mailing and depositing relief checks for many residents. During the recently wrapped legislative sessions, the lawmakers agreed to send tax rebates to people in Minnesota. And now the rebates are $260 for individuals with AGIs very high, but $520 for couples who file jointly. People within those limits will get an additional $260 per dependent for up to 3 people they can claim. Rebates are expected to go out via direct deposit, and checks starting this fall too. It's important to note that the lawmakers and taxpayers who have to apply for these payments are going to get good money. Georgia has a very large budget surplus, and the latest report was more than $6 billion. As I was saying, the to receive the funds, filers must have paid and filed tax for the past 2 years, and according to a spokesperson, Georgia's Department of Revenue has already processed over 1.1 million total refunds. It totals about $257 million. If you haven't received your money yet, don't even worry. The Department of Revenue said the funds will go out over the next 8 weeks for those who filed by April 18th. Those who filed after the tax deadline will of course wait a little bit longer, as refunds will not be issued until one's tax returns have been processed. A Wall Street Journal analysis of Federal Reserve data reveals a concerning financial situation for people ages 30 to 39. The demographic accumulated nearly $4 trillion in debt during the fourth quarter of 2022. It reflects a substantial $140 billion rise from preceding the quarter. Now, according to Yahoo News, the mounting debt is indicative of broader economic challenges faced by the generations. The New York's Fed data reveals that millennials in their 30s are accumulating debt at a very high pace, which is starting to be alarming. New data have shown that 73% of U.S. millennials are actually in deep trouble, living paycheck to paycheck. More than 1/3 of Americans say there's still loans that prevent them from buying a home, because we all know that this is not the right thing to do. I also want to make another point on this important stimulus information, that a significant portion of the 22 to 37-year-olds surveyed revealed a concerning trend of retirement savings. It's according to the survey, a considerable number of respondents said that their monthly contributions to retirement savings were low. Monthly checks may be sent out this year, and many lawmakers in the House have just learned about to propose a bill that will restore the improved and expanded monthly child tax credit payments. It would cost billions of dollars and would send Americans relief checks every month. It already has provided bipartisan support, and also a group of House representatives have just introduced the American.
So why aren't we forecast to win a massive majority in the Senate? Put aside the fact that some of these are more purple states. We should be on track to be picking up an enormous number of seats notwithstanding that. I submit to you the reason why is because to too great an extent, the Republican strategy, but more specifically the strategy of Senate Republican leadership, has been to try to lay back and just watch as these crises unfold.
Folks, we have a ton of good news about the fourth stimulus check, Social Security benefits, SSI, and Ssdi. Continue watching because you don't want to miss out on this. Now, Americans of all incomes would see their federal taxes rise under the climate and healthcare package that was negotiated between Joe Manchin and Chuck Schumer. However, the analysis that takes into account the indirect effect of the bill's provision to impose a 15% minimum tax on certain corporations. Economists assume companies would then pass along part of their tax increase. To House, there is a new update for Social Security, SSI, and Ssdi. An extra monthly benefit boost is going to be passed to help seniors cope with rising inflation, meaning that seniors may receive thousands of dollars extra every single year. It's been a tough year for many seniors, no doubt about that. Inflation has been surging, the stock market is falling, and a recession is looking more and more likely. According to a survey from multiple sources, nearly 90% of current retirees say that Social Security is an important source of income. So it's good to understand the upcoming changes to this program and how they can affect your retirement income. It's been a historic year for Social Security, and the changes in 2023 could be massive. Massive, folks. Lawmakers are already working together to find ways to improve Social Security. Representative Ted Deutch and Senator Mazie Hirono renewed their call for Congress to strengthen and improve the Social Security program. The SSA released its annual trustees report, which indicated that while the program remained strong in 2017, improvements should be made to ensure that full costs and benefits are payable into the foreseeable future and beyond. Representative Deutch said,
cards instead. Now, Treasury started testing that out in the first round of payments a year ago. There's been a lot of concern about some of the fees that unbanked households have to pay to access their money. An analysis by the Brookings Institution found that the costs range from about $8 to as much as $195 for a family of 5. But guys, the challenge with the prepaid cards is that some people thought it was a scam and they didn't activate it right away. So officials say that the real card is a Visa and that the envelope would prominently display.
So folks, we got a ton of news about the fourth stimulus check, Social Security benefits, SSI, and SDI. We have a lot of good news that you need to know about this video and about the fourth stimulus check, so continue watching. You don't want to miss out on this. New information has been released by the Social Security Administration as the cost of living continues to rise. Many economists are pushing for more relief, specifically for seniors and retirees. New plans have also been put forward that provides extra financial help to Americans. Beginning in January, retirees will already see a healthy increase in their monthly Social Security checks. Benefits are increasing by 8.7% based on the cost of living adjustment announced in October, and that's the largest hike since the all-time record of 11%. Senior Citizens League also said in a statement this year that a COLA of 8.7% is a lot. In fact, the COLA has only risen about 7% 5 times since it was introduced in 1975. The 2022 COLA in comparison was only 5.9%. Next year's increase represents the